Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today, going over some of the evolving strategy in the meta at Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11. We have a lot of cool attacks lined up today, some great Bo+Ner action, also some LaLoon action. So before we hop into that, look at guys how close I am to being, for the first time ever, 100% max. I have about 6 walls left and then my level 1 wall. I don't know if I want to upgrade it, guys. Should I? Should I not? Should I leave it? I don't know. It kind of reminds me of my humble beginnings in a way. I don't know if I want to touch it, but I'll do what you guys want me to do with the level 1 wooden wall. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and hop right into it here. You can see that this attack is by Dan. Now, this is a fail. We're going to lead off today's episode with a fail, and it's kind of something that I've been trying to do more and more often on my channel, trying to discuss what went wrong in certain raids, rather than just showing always 100% 3-star highlights. I do want to kind of talk about what went wrong, and maybe it can help you guys even more sometimes than the success stories. That way you can say, okay, when I see this base, this is what not to do. And in this attack by Dan, Dan is one of our best attackers in Red Elite, and he's an air attacker. He only attacks with LaLoon and Go LaLoon attacks, and you can see he's actually 3-starred this base a number of times. It has everything one could ask for a LaLoon attacker. It has the single target Inferno Tower, it has the very accessible Queen, and you even saw that he was able to lure some of that clan castle right off the bat as well, so a very easily triggerable and lurable clan castle. Now, the one mistake that Dan really makes here on this attack is that he deploys too many of his balloons early on, and then he only has 1 balloon left to clean up right now. So he doesn't need however many balloons he has right now. Maybe it's like 15 balloons alive right now. And look at this air sweeper here, guys. This air sweeper is going to be the bane of his existence in the back half of this raid. And you can see all the balloons are clumped up. It looks like he only has a few balloons, but there's actually about 10 balloons in that huge clump right now, and he could so use 5 or 6 balloons to come in from the northeast there where that 1 balloon came in and really help out on this attack. Even 1 haste spell over there would have helped as well. So by Dan's own admission here, he really didn't kind of see the raid through all the way to the end where he was going to engage that air sweeper, and that's what ultimately cost him the 3 stars on this attack. Now, you guys might be saying to yourself, poor Dan, he's batting lead off on this video and he showed a fail, Ash? What's up with that? But alas, don't worry, guys, because Dan is also up again right now, and we're going to show a success, which thankfully is usually the result on these Dan Penta LaLoon or 4 Quad LaLoon raids. You can see here what he basically does is he looks at all the bases when the war is just kicking off on battle day. He looks at every single Town Hall 11 on the enemy side, and he's really just looking for the basics. He's looking for a base where he can access the Queen in a pretty safe spot using only 1 golem in his heroes, even a few wizards obviously if needed. Oh, by the way, guys, this is a fresh hit, by the way, so no scouting here, didn't even know what was in the clan castle. And what he's able to do is take down 1 air defense, take down the clan castle and the enemy queen, and then he just plans out the LaLoon portion of the attack from there on out, encompassing the rest of the base. He's using the combination of haste spells and rage spells for the core, haste spells around the perimeter, and it's pretty much as easy as that. Now, we are seeing, I said this was going to be Town Hall 11 and Town Hall 10. We'll go to Town Hall 10 after this raid, and it's not that Go LaLoon and LaLoon isn't viable at Town Hall 10, it's just much more difficult. You're really relying heavily on the Grand Warden for the Eternal Tome ability, basically a built-in freeze spell for the back half of these raids. It really makes Go LaLoon much more viable than it currently is at Town Hall 10. Now, that's not to say it's impossible at Town Hall 10. In fact, I do have a couple nice replays to share with you guys. However, they won't be on today's video because I do want to kind of get into the Bo+Ner stuff. So we'll be covering some Town Hall 11 Bo+Ner, some Town Hall 10 Bo+Ner, and also some Town Hall 10 mass bowler attacks. Because honestly, I think at Town Hall 10, those are the strategies we want to focus on, mass bowler and Bo+Ner attacks, because I think that's where the current meta is kind of going to settle in here. Now, I promise you guys Town Hall 10 for the next replay. I misspoke here. 1 quick Bo+Ner attack at Town Hall 11, and the reason I'm bringing this replay is because look at these miners here, guys. They're only level 2. Now, to be fair, the base isn't 100% maxed out, and it's not the best base design in the world, but the reason I'm bringing this replay is just to illustrate that even if your miners aren't maxed out, you can still have a lot of success with them. Now, this attack here, you can see that Brandon's able to enter the base using that rage spell to really speed those bowlers into the core. As long as you can take out one of those Inferno Towers with the kill squad, with the bowler portion of the Bo+Ner attack, you're going to be A-okay for when you deploy the miners. Now, speaking of miners, when you you do deploy your miners, what you kind of want to do is still make sure you deploy those miners pretty early on. So more often than not, you're going to be deploying those miners much sooner in the raid than you typically would, say, back-end hogs on like a go-ho attack at Town Hall 9, and, you know, we're still seeing those here and there at Town Hall 10. But the miners are essentially going to complement your bowler portion of the attack, and what's going to happen is, inevitably, your kill squad's all going to die out more often than not, and your miners will end up picking the rest of the damage. So if you're able to get around 60 to 70% before your actual kill squad dies, the miners will easily be able to pick up the rest of the damage needed to 3-star the base. Now, you can see here, the kill squad leaves that Inferno Tower at literally like 1% of its hit points, and to add insult to injury, the miners actually go everywhere but the Inferno Tower. This heal spell was not beautifully placed, unfortunately. Most of the miners actually go right on the perimeter there towards that wizard tower, and you can see that, you know, the heal spell was largely wasted there, unfortunately, but luckily he's still gonna pull off the 3-star regardless. Now, guys, it's worth noting again that these miners are only level 2, and even with that poorly placed heal spell, Brandon's still able to pull off the 3-star. So this actually attack was literally at the very last second of the war, and we won this war by 1 star, 100 to 99. So we were, needless to say, thrilled, and chat was going absolutely crazy. I really love moments like that. So now we're going to move on to the Town Hall 10 stuff. I think that one might be it for the Town Hall 11 raids. Don't quote me on that, so we'll go ahead and see what we have in store. So Scorch here is going to be attacking. This attack actually just took place here. Now, again, this base is definitely not maxed out, so, you know, that's a disclaimer. But on the other side of the equation, Scorch is actually a pretty new Town Hall 10. You can see his heroes here are only 30-30, so he's a max Town Hall 9, just got his bowlers and his miners up to level 2 each, and you can see he's going to make very easy work of this base. So again, he's going to enter in, creating the funnel just like any strategy, basically, no matter what strategy you're using. If you screw up the funnel, you're going to screw up the raid. So I always tell people, guys, if you're not sure, dedicate another 10 troop space to establishing the funnel. Use those 2 baby dragons if you need to. Use those extra wizards. Use a giant to tank for a couple extra wizards, because the number one thing that can go wrong on these attacks, the number one thing, is screwing up the funnel and having your bowlers go somewhere around the base. Now, if you guys are having trouble with your funneling, for whatever reason, some things are always going wrong, and it's always causing you to frustratingly lose a raid. Frustratingly? Is that even a word? I don't know. To lose raids. So here's a couple tips to help you funnel better, right? So number one is, and some of these might be pretty obvious, but I figured I'd share them anyway. Number one is, you don't want to enter into a base, if you can avoid it, you don't want to enter in at a corner of the base. So if it's a square base, those 4 points on the square, you don't want to enter one of those. It's always best to enter into a base, into a long, flat surface. It's just much easier to funnel, and with these wacky AI issues that we've been having lately, it's just much safer to begin with, because bowlers, even if you think you've got the funnel nailed, sometimes they have a tendency to target an interior building and then move along the perimeter of a base. I'm sure we've all been there, so just be very careful. You can see like Husker Wags over here, he's attacking into a base from this long area rather than the corner, like the northern point would be a much more difficult area to enter in on. So that's one tip. Number two is, if you're going to be using a jump spell to access the core of the base, to funnel your troops into the base, or even if you're using wall breakers, it's best to make that opening or use that jump before you deploy your bowlers if you can. That way, right when you place those bowlers, their AI will lock onto a target, hopefully where you want them to go, into the core of the base. And the third little tip for funneling is, if you have to, use a rage spell pretty early. You can actually correct some funneling issues if you use a rage, and even your Barbarian King's Iron Fist ability. If things start to go wrong very early on, you can kind of lead the pathing in a new direction if the situation dictates for it. Maybe I'll actually bring a video dedicated on fixing funneling issues in the future, but you know what? I've been talking so much about funneling that I haven't even given the play-by-play on these last 2 attacks. But we saw the Bo+Ner attack. Now this by Husker, who's one of our best Town Hall attackers, is just a straight-up mass bowler attack, and bowler attacks are still totally viable at Town Hall 10. In fact, they might even be a little bit easier than Bo+Ner attacks, max. It really depends on what level your troops are, what type of base you're hitting, and certainly what the Inferno Towers are set to. Now let's kind of move on here. Another not totally maxed out base, it doesn't look like here, but again, the heroes aren't maxed either, so these are really real-life scenarios. These are the type of things that you're going to be encountering in the game, and the type of strategy that you're going to be using against these bases to execute these 3 stars, hopefully. Now, against a base like this, obviously, you know, if you want to play things safe, if it's a close war, if things are tight, you kind of want to enter in the base towards the town hall area. It might not be the most ideal place to enter in a base, but it all depends on what you need out of your clan war, right? It doesn't make sense to try to execute a very risky attack going for 3 stars when you only need 2, especially if it's early on in a clan war and you're hitting a fresh base that has not been attacked yet. I always kind of prefer to angle my attack somewhere near the town hall area. That way I can at least lock up the 2 stars and then hopefully get the 3. And then if it's later in the clan war, or if I'm playing cleanup on a 2 star, or if I'm dipping as a town hall 11 onto a town hall 10, then the town hall placement is totally irrelevant to me. The town hall I just look at as a storage unit, a hit point buffer. Other than that, I could care less about it. So it really depends on where you are in the clan war and what your clan needs to pull off the win. And like I said, early on, try to go into the town hall area. That way you can at least get the 2 stars for your team on the board. And then later on the raid, and later on the war, excuse me, then you don't have to worry about where the town hall is. You just try to get those 3 stars. You don't even pay attention to the town hall. So guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed just some of these fresh raids, post-balance update. I don't have a ton of raids to work with. Obviously, we've only had 1 clan war or maybe 2 battle days since, but I hope you guys enjoyed some of these great raids that I shared with you guys today. Now, there will be more instructional, educational, really nitty-gritty strategy videos coming up on both the Bo+Ner and LaLoon and Mass Bowler at Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11. Until then, guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.